I would say, that just kind of play on what Walton said there as far as, you know, it's funny if you had like a wireless video cam out there on the field and you broke to say, hey, it's intermission, I'm over here on row 5 and the high school kids are here for Twilight 4. Right. Coming up, come on over, get the snack bar, fried chicken here, whatever, you know, just promote it that way. Kind of a neat alternative that you can't really do right now.
And don't forget advertising yourself. I'm not well versed in it. I don't know if there's other ways, but Do-Re-Mi does sell a software called Cine Asset. I checked into a lot of different things. I could not find anything else for my knowledge level, so I did buy Cine Asset. If you have a Mac, you have a program called iMovie, and I'm sure there are thousands of different video editing softwares out there. You take it, you make it, you put in this thing, it converts it, whatever you want to do. KMID, our local ABC affiliate, is one of our sponsors for Monday Night Football. They gave me their commercial or whatever they wanted to produce on a DVD. Threw it in there, converted it over, it's on the screens. The NFL man, he's one of our sponsors for Monday Night Football. He's just a store in the mall, but at one point in time he had one of the local TV stations shoot him a commercial. They gave it to me on highest definition they had on DVD, threw it in there, converted it over. And it is definitely another source of income selling advertising.
And Tim makes some really good content too.
Oh, thanks.
His stuff looks really good.
Appreciate that.
It really does.
Likewise, if someone needs DCP conversions, we do that as well. Or ours, you can just put the DVD directly in the player and not worry about it.
I got a question for Tim. Speaking of your trailers, earlier this afternoon I asked, are they going to be available? You said, yeah, they already
Yes.
are. Now,
Some of them are.
I'm going to assume they're going to cost more than they do now.
Oh, no, not at all. Probably be half the cost of the 35 millimeter. At
Really?
least. Oh, yeah.
Take trade-in.
Don't have anything in it. Absolutely. Why not?
Well, I figured they would cost more because we would buy the ones.
Yeah, but see, I've already, when I made them, they're already in digital form. So,
They have a different store.
absolutely. So you'll get it
They also have
first generation.
food trailers.
No film, no intervening film generation.
Food here, we go out of business.
Now, just keep in mind though, repeat customer here, or whatever, I mean, as far as, he's not gonna wear out that print too fast. Better, might wanna have some alternative printware or something.
Yeah.
As it ages, it automatically gets worn out. No, I'm just kidding. I was wondering, used equipment, it was brought up a little bit earlier about corrosion on the connections and such, as something to watch for. But what do you do as far as, first of all, which of you, how many of you do sell used equipment? I know you sell new, do you sell used, you know, everybody here. As far as that goes, what kind of once over or whatever do you give to used equipment so that when people want to buy it or, you know, find it if they do, besides corrosion, what should they look for? Either in a dealer who's got it or anybody who provides on that, or if they just find it in from the theater that says, I'm moving to Series 2 and we've got this Series 1 for sale.
We had 100 projectors used in the Beijing Olympics. 20, you talk about durability, they were the ones shooting up on the overhead animations. They were outside of 2210, it's our smallest one, and they were resold then into the Chinese market. I'm sorry, they're not here. But I got 3 that came in and they've already sold from other loaning kind of projects. You know, we're doing some proof concepts, things like that. We can't sell it as new, but I don't have 50 to outfit all of the drive-ins. It's also new, they're brand new, fresh out of the box kinds of things. It'll take another couple of years to drive, large quantities from our projectors.
That's what I was going to say, is if we came across the equipment, we would definitely be willing to sell it and very quickly we would go through it, but we just don't see it.
Can't beat a warranty. So if there is a problem, we'll replace it.
And the sad part is when you say goodbye to your 35 millimeter, it's not really worth anything.
You have to pay that anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. You can take your pliers apart and get aluminum. Yeah. That's what we
Makes
did.
nice patio furniture.
We got our building before.
Yeah, later in the afternoon, we'll talk about alternative uses of platters, but.
And the Spico platters actually started out as patio furniture.
And they make
The
great picnic
tabletops.
tables.
Yeah.
We're making some tables out of them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, picnic
Now, in our
tables.
welding shop.
Chinese big lazy Susan.
Well, to the youth questions, we've sold a few, and I'm only selling a little bit when I know the history of it. I use services meter, I pay a meter very well, so I know it's history all the way back. That's one of the safest ways to go. You're going out buying it off a truck from somewhere, that's pretty risky.
So we're in exactly the same boat. We installed several hundred Series 1 projectors, so many years ago. When those become available as used units, we know their service history, because we do it personally. So we feel confident reselling those. Anything that come across from the outside, we'll usually send it back to the factory for a refurb and update. Get them to sign off that it's as good as it can be.
So the factory's gonna come out with refurbished ones probably in the next couple of years. Start refurbishing.
I wouldn't count on it, but there will be some.
It's total hit and miss.
Yeah.
Some available now, but usually one or two at a time. Not large quantities. Like he said, they come from different things. They could be used in China for some event, and every once in a while one slips back in. So they are occasionally available.
They don't stay on the market long when they are.
Yeah, they do sell very quickly. If you find one, you better sign up quick.
We've had a number of them available for us on our agreement, and we've intentionally kind of kept it quiet for the last few weeks because we wanted to present it here first, and drive-ins would have a chance at it. But I honestly expect them to go almost immediately.
And that has been my experience. I have probably turned more used equipment than any single individual person. And as soon as, usually it takes one phone call on any projector and it's gone, just like that. Never more than two. So, there's a waiting list of people begging me for equipment. I got people call me every single day, have you found anything, have you found anything? And usually, first one, bam, it's gone. So they do sell very quickly. Scott had one for sale he told me about, and I talked to him like a day later and he said, oh, it's gone. So, that was just overnight. So I guess your experience is the same thing. It sells very quickly.
How about the systems that mount on the console? Those earlier
Those
systems are just,
useless now. They're about as useless as your phone projector will be in as soon as you take it out.
It is sometimes fun to see them in a corner of a booth. I stumble across them every once in a
well,
while.
there's a theater in Atlanta that still have them.
The Magnolia in Dallas has
Have
one.
one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a question?
Actually, I have a few questions. On the finance, about the lease program, is there a penalty on any of those? Because I know that there are some loan structures that if you pay off before the term and everything, that there's some penalty.
There are, if you feel that you're going to, if it's a lease or a loan, if you're talking lease, if you feel that you're going to pay it back earlier, then we would have them structure issue instead of a 72-month, a 4-year lease or a 3-year lease. So you can structure it if you would prefer to just spread the payments out enough to make it easier, but you want to own it quicker, they can do that. So if you get a 72-month lease and decide in 3 years to pay it off completely, there are fees involved.
Okay, so basically, if it's either structured by loan or.
Right, but again, it's, you can set the lease as long or as short as you want it. So you can do a 3-year lease.
Okay, so if I cannot pay it off.
That is, yeah. I don't agree with that.
I'm going to, if I needed to extend this, is that a possibility?
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things we do to match a 10-year VPF program is we'll do a 6-year lease, fair market value lease. So at the end of that lease, there's a residual, your payments are lower, and then restructure that for 2 more years. So that way your payments actually stay the same, and you get up to an 8-year loan. or lease.
But if the BPF program is not going to be available for driving vehicles at this point, how does that?
And I apologize, I'm using that as an example. So whether we did it for the BPF structure, but NEC Financial will do it without a BPF as well. So if you want to do a 6-year fair market value lease, and at the end of those 6 years, redo a new lease for 2 more years, they restructure it, you can do that as well. So if you think you want to do a 3-year lease because you're not sure, but at the end of that 3-year, you want to restructure another 2 or 3 year, you can do that, yes.
You just want the principal on the balance.
On whatever, if you structure a 3-year fair market value lease, at the end of those 3 years, there's going to be a dollar amount. You take that dollar amount and restructure that for a
The
second.
depreciation counts into all of that.
Depreciation, yes. It's a higher fair market value price. So, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
If you're leasing it, there is no depreciation.
No, I think what she was saying is, she was using the word depreciation, but I think what you were saying is the fair market value a higher number at the end of 3 years versus the end of 5 years? Right, which it is, but your payments will be higher. So the end number will still be the same, but your payments will be higher for a 3-year, your monthly payments will be higher for 3 years to get you that number. NEC Financial contracted with an independent company to come up with that fair market value. I am not able to tell you what that number is, but they will tell you that number when you sign. They'll give you the exact number of what it'll be at the end of 3 years, 5 years, or whatever.
Kind of like a blue book value.
They're using that as an example, it's a value that was established by an independent company. Yes, it's fair.
It's fair. So through the dealers is how they contacted this NEC Financial?
No, actually, you would contact NEC Financial directly.
Okay.
Either the dealer or myself can give you an application.
Okay.
And what you do is you take, when your dealer puts together the price proposal, you put that together with the information they need on the lead and send that into NEC Financial. I work for NEC Display. So you would send that into NEC Financial. All the information where to send it is on the form. So you don't actually send your financials to your dealer. You send them straight to NEC Financial.
We have in the past finished those packages for our customers to make sure that NEC Financial has everything that they need when it goes out to help the deal run
So
as smoothly as
you pretty
possible.
well do the whole package thing?
We have, yeah. It's up to you. If you trust me to hand over your financials.
Actually, I think all the dealers here have the capability of doing that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I think everybody here has the capability of actually doing financing. I mean, if you want to sit down with them tonight and work something out, they're capable now of doing that.
It's actually to your benefit to use your dealer if you're not worried about them having a financial, because they're the ones that will put together the pricing proposal. So for them to then take the whole thing and send it off to NEC Financial, also because they work with them more often, they can pick up the phone and call 2 days later and say, where's the information?
And I think from their experience, they can also pretty much tell you payments, probably right now, just about. They'll tell you about what it's going to cost for a package and what your monthly payment would be right now, without even having to go any further. If you wanted an answer today from their past experience, I believe they can tell you right now pretty much what it would be,
Yes.
what you'd be facing. And I think all of them here are pretty capable of that right now.
He's right.
The NRC, Brad and Randy, you guys said that you provided your own system that would monitor, like, if we purchased an equipment for you.
There's basically 4 NOCs out there. Christie has one. They were pretty much phase 1 access IT for BPF deployment. They're the one that's most widely known. Strong has a NOC, Barco has a NOC, and we have not.
Okay, so each individual protection company has their
For the most part, there's a handful of independent knocks around.
Okay, so with all of the different projectors, do you have to pay for that fee? Or maybe I misunderstood, you said something about $60 fee per project, or per screen per month.
That's our cost. Basically, you'll find the other knocks don't like to really just voluntarily give you that information until you sign an NDA. We're just saying, we're not going to go through that. This is what it is.
That's the same price.
If you're closed, there's no fee that month.
Okay, so, because we're open from May to, beginning of May to end of August.
Right,
So
just
that's
those few months out of the
So
year.
it's $120 a month for all of the service and
Yes.
what have you.
Yes, and it's full service, it's not just not monitoring, it's not monitoring and full operation.
Basically, it's just a service package agreement.
In a nutshell, you don't have to know how to operate the equipment at all.
I'm sorry.
In a nutshell, you don't even have to know how to operate the equipment.
We get the hard drive, so we put the movies in.
You would dock the drive in and that's it, if it's something that doesn't come down off the satellite.
So I can buy her a kid's
Any kid can walk upstairs, stick it in, and you're done. Yes.
Okay, so the question I believe that Justin asked, I still didn't understand the answer, that if we should find the used equipment, because we have a sevenplex theater in town, and if he decided he was going to, upgrade all of his equipment, and he says, hey, Al, I got this that I want to sell, and it's an NEC. Can I have either one of you have a technician come out and check that out before I purchase? I think all of you guys said that if you have that used equipment, you would have a tech to come out and check it. But what if we have the equipment and let's say I wanted to go with you, Brad and Randy, with the service plan for this particular equipment, would you come out and check out Rambo?
We would not personally come out.
Well,
Whoever your installation tech is probably the one we would have check it out, or you could have it sent back to NEC and let the manufacturer check it out.
Okay, so we
It just kind of depends on the scenario.
Right. Who's going to install that?
Well, and who, for example, installed the 7 screen?
Oh, okay, so they.
It may be a deal where if you know those people and you trust them, that may, be something. So for example, you could either use their system as it is, you could put their projector on our pedestal and run with it like that. I mean, we're hardware agnostic, you can do any combination you want.
We have certified techs for EDC, Christie, and we would be one of those folks that we can send somebody out.
Right.
But you need a certified tech for that.
They're all over the country.
Install some of the equipment for board grid in
We installed the theaters in Lubbock, Texas, and Midland, Texas.
I think that might have been right.
Yeah, but
Do remember one other thing. This 7-plex you're talking about, which is just, maybe it's an example, maybe it's real. For the drive-in, you're almost always going to want the largest projector to be able to light your screen. And most indoors do not need the largest projector. So even if they have them and they say, hey, we'll give it to you for $5,000 and it's perfect and it's wonderful, it may not matter because it may not physically be able to work for you. And whenever you've got the projector data sheets from the manufacturer, you've got an issue of, well, this one can do a 70-foot screen, this one can do a 105-foot screen, whatever. That's not drive-in specs. We took this projector in this perfect room without any port glass and used the exact specific zoom point of the lens where we can get the brightest image on this super high-gain screen at just the dead center of the image. I mean, that is miracle numbers. So make sure that you're working with actual real-life numbers when you go and you do finally select a projector, and also take into account things like the lamp degradation over time, lens, everything, absolutely everything.
And cheaper bulbs are not always cheaper. We were just having a discussion about that a little while ago.
There's a lot of different bulbs out there, and some of them look fantastic for that first 50 hours, and then they just plummet. You don't get any life out of them at all. And for that matter, often just upping your CFM on the exhaust will greatly extend the life of that lamp and greatly keep your brightness higher longer.
Now, does everybody know what a NOC is? Okay.
That's
So a NOC is a network operations center. It's the call center. So they're going to consolidate if you're in a VPF program, they're going to consolidate your service history and present that to the studios and prove to them that you really did show every film that you said you played. And so you'll get paid back off of that.
And no more.
Right. They're also usually going to include your tier 1 technical support, and depending on your service level, your tier 2 technical support.
What does that mean?
So you call them when you have a problem, and they
Tier 1, tier 2.
Basic problems and more drastic, serious problems. So
Tier
let's
1
say-
reads out of the book.
Yeah, tier 1, anybody can do that off of a script on their call list. Tier 2, generally you got to have somebody with some experience that will think through your problem and come up with a solution for you. That's about it, right, guys? Obviously,
Well,
your NOC does a little bit more than
We
that.
do a lot
But
more than that.
that's kind of the base service package that
And
you're.
since you asked, the $60 figure we quoted, that's for anything. It's not just tier 1 support, it's tier 2. Literally, our shop is part of the same building that the NOC is in. If there's something that happens that is beyond their capabilities, all of our shop people are certified by the projector manufacturers, the server manufacturers. Literally, if something really bad goes wrong, they will pull them in and have them take a look at it, so.
The point of it not, the basic point, it monitors your system, your projector, your server. So if you change a lamp, or you have one of your employees change a lamp, and they don't shut the door properly, and there's connection isn't there, and your projector isn't working, to save you from spending several $100s to get a tech out there just to find out the door isn't shut, the NOC knows that, and they will pick up the phone and call you and say, your projector isn't working because your door isn't shut properly. That's the basic reason of a NOC. It monitors your projector and tells what's going on at all times.
And like non-star.
What if something goes wrong with the FM transmitter?
You're not gonna be able to fix that.
No.
But that's the same with 35, that could go bad anytime. That's, a good drive-in always has a spare transmitter.
That's right.
Paul had a question. I have a couple questions. Lifespan of the lamps from digital to not digital. I'm getting about $1,100. Now, you can go way further if you want, but $1,100 Christie 4K bulb.
Is it a
Is that gonna
CDXL40
be-
or is it a CXL40? What are you burning? Is this film or digital?
One of my bulbs said 4,000 HS, whatever that would mean. That's right.
It's film. Okay, so
For film.
for film,
Okay.
right.
That bulb's costing me about $800-900, right?
The digital
Is it-
version is
am I
going to
going
cost
to be
a lot.
replacing it more often on a digital?
Well,
How much more often?
typically a little bit more, yes. You will find the cost of the bulb is more expensive.
Well, those many hours.
A Christie 4500 bulb is about $1,200, and it's 1,000 hours. It's the warranty. Now, I don't know,
And in
a
some
while ago, they had some
cases,
different numbers
way
up there for
over
Christie, and they had warranty and life. We exchange at life, because like somebody else mentioned, they mentioned a lower price. I want to say somebody that installed our stuff said that our reflectors were like 12 grand. Maybe they're not, maybe they're 8, I don't really know. Somebody said they were 5. But our 6000s from Christie are warranty for 600. Up there, they have life 900, the only warranty to 600. And then our 4500 Christie is about $1,200, and it is warranty for 1,000. And I don't remember what they showed up there as life. I want to say it was 1,500.
We've
I
got
think-
a warranty program that adds a few extra warranty hours. We talked about different service offerings. There's another incentive to go with one of the offers and get you the specific charts parallel.
Okay, here's my second question. Usable lifespan of a DLP projector. I mean, how long is this going to last?
In theory, 130.
Nobody knows, right? It's only the 10 years.
They have DLP chips running from the initial chips that were built. They're still running, they're testing, they're still running. DLP chip, if you get bad pixel will happen when you first buy it. Once you get, and then they just warranty, replace a light engine. Chances are you're going to have that projector for a very long time as long as you maintain it.
It's like any piece of gear out there now. Infant mortality is the biggest issue. Once it gets to the first
Once
few
it's beyond
months
that,
or
the heat
days,
light
whatever,
over years
yeah,
and years doesn't kill it.
It's usually going to die in the first 3 to 6 months. If it's going
Yeah.
to, it's going to last a long time.
Have any of y'all
Regardless
installed
of
replaced the
manufacturer.
DLP chip after a year?
Pardon?
Has
You wouldn't
anybody
replace
here?
it chip,
After a year?
But you wouldn't replace a chip.
Well, whatever you
Yeah.
replace.
Right. After a year, no.
You'll replace IC keyboards, you'll replace power supplies, you'll replace lenses for bad motors, you know, odds and ends, but
I also want to throw out, the reason they said, you notice they said warranty lamp versus life of the lamp? In the digital projector, you need to be careful. The warranty, if the lamp goes past the warranty period and the lamp blows up, it takes the reflector out with it most of the time. The reflector, as was just mentioned, is anywhere from $8,000 to $14,000. So if the lamp blows up before the warranty covers the reflector. So that's why you need to watch those hours on your lamp. And even though it's still burning bright, if it goes past the warranty, you're at your own risk.
It's not worth every that gamble. Really not.
Oh, before we go past the bulb thing, the good news is we are in the very early stages of working on a Technolight conversion for digital projectors. So a Technolight reflector, like we're working a 35 millimeter projector, we're working for a conversion right now. So some of us here are in the process of working on that right now. So it may be possible that some of the Series 1 projectors could be upgraded to Technolight. So just so you know.
If I'm running a 4,000 watt xenon now, what I gotta do when I go digital? Same or more?
probably 6.
6.
I don't know your situation,
Okay.
but you're probably gonna have to get a little bit bigger.
We were at 6. We're still at 6 on the 6s. We were at a 4202 on our smaller screen, and we went to the size that Christie had right there, which was 4500. And the neat thing for us is the way our screens were shaped, we did our screen 2 first. So one night it was done, so after it was done, we fired up screen 1, cleaned it, had it all nice and dressed up, put a light on the screen, and put the new digital projector on the screen, and there was a definite difference. We were shocked. We couldn't have been more pleased. We knew the definition was going to be there, this high resolution stuff. The only thing we worried about was that brightness, and it was much greater. And that's where Mark mentioned a while ago, I also took the time, I put an ASL in one and a Christie in the other, both 6,000. With, I'm sure all the projectors on the Christie, you can control the intensity of the light. The Christie bulb was at 85%, the ASL bulb was at 97%, yet the Christie was by far greater. Right.
And I'm seeing the exact same thing.
It's for $350, $400 difference in price though.
I'm seeing the exact same thing as far as light falling off. I'm testing some ASL bulbs right now. Brad had to rescue me on one. I had one fail. Brad happened to have a spare. He was driving by. It was in his car, so he did save me. I have to give him credit for that. So just because something appears to be cheaper in the front end does not mean that it will be for the life. And
It goes back to what I
my
was
testing
saying.
of the ASLs is not very good. So saving $300 to $400 on a bulb will not be worthwhile long term.
Because you may want to pull it out by the time it's at half warranty. At that point, the better bulbs become cheaper. So if you've got a Christie projector, I'll just tell you right now, the best bulb is a Christie bulb. If you've got an NEC or a Barco projector, the best bulb is New Ship. If you've got a Sony projector, Slack.
But Ushio does make bulbs.
They do.
So, Philips, Osram, Ushio,
You just said that
You can't get
if
any
you
light.
you were running
Just
4K,
the general
4.5K
design, they're hard to
before,
work
you
on.
need 6K.
They don't
These
provide
guys
light,
said,
they're more
I
expensive.
put in 6K digital and it's brighter than my old 6K.
I think you have to look at the quality of your screen, and you have to look at your projection port glass. You have to look at the whole package.
What were
And
you
very, very
running?
tight with
What projector in the lamp house were you running in 35?
I'm not talking about me.
I'm answering the question. That's what I'm saying, is you can't just ask the question blindly,
never had
because
anything
each one of the
else
digital
work.
projectors will put out
If he
a
worked
little
with yours,
bit
he
different
would hate
lumens
using
per
something
watt,
else.
and every film system is not alike, and was your film system even lined up properly? Because for all you know, you could downsize a bulb and get a much brighter image with digital. You could buy one type of projector over another, and it'll be better. I mean, you know, there could be this projector is better at this size screen and this throw, but this projector will put out more light for the same wattage on that size screen in that throw.
I prefer to err on the side of caution. I'm never going to suggest you buy a smaller bulb and then, you know, try to.
You'll find out on the first bulb.
The other advantage of the digital projectors is you get the higher bulb, but you can actually run it at 50% power or 70% power. So if you're finding that the nights are getting darker and you don't need as much illumination, you can lower it down and save the life of the bulb a little bit. If it's a full moon and you need more brightness, you can bring it up.
Yeah, I've actually got a question for the projector guys. Does your CLO modification on the lamp power monitor through the film, or is it more periodic? Like as dusk comes on and the ambient light drops, is the lamp power going to adjust at the same time? Is it more or less live? I've never tried that.
Wow, that's a technical question. I don't believe so. We're manual. You can manually lower it. So did y'all hear the question? So you can manually adjust as it gets darker. You can lower it.
Now, it has been my experience, when we first started with 3D, we were running multiple settings on bulbs. We had different formats. On your digital projectors, you still have flat and scope, and you still have different formats if you have 3D or whatever. And you can set your light output per format or macro if it's a barcode. We found that we doubled the life of the bulbs by just starting at 99% and just leaving it there instead of going up and down. We were actually lowering down to like 75% for 2D, and we were destroying bulbs. And Brad told me, he said, if you want to double the life of your bulb, leave it alone. Set it at 99, leave it alone. And that's what we've
Bulbs
done.
do not like being turned.
Yeah, and it has actually increased the life of the bulb. So I would say, if you've got great light when you've got a full moon, don't worry about lowering the bulb when you don't have a moon at all. Just leave it alone, let it go, and save money in bulbs.
Leave it alone. Don't rotate the bulb. Just leave it alone.
And I've tested it both ways.
The answer to the question is, if you set your bulb at 85% and it's 2,700 watts that the bulb is drawing, if you turn on other projectors, if you draw more power, it will still keep itself at 2,700.
It's not going to make any difference unless you have a serious wiring problem in your building. If you have that problem, you need an electrician.
It will balance itself. It will take that, it will stay at 85%.
Right.
It won't go to 90% to make it nicer, but it will always stay at that percentage that you keep it, no matter what the conditions are that are happening.
We're a fan of turning off all the automatic CLO, light lock, whatever the manufacturer, you know, if they all call it something different, but it's the same thing where it automatically decides how to turn it up and such. And I'm a big fan of turning that off.
Yeah,
It will greatly extend your lamp.
There's a tendency that all the manufacturers have to make the projectors a little too clever. And I did the same thing. I go through and I see a CLO set in there, I delete it. Just more trouble.
We should probably start wrapping up. We're hoping to get done by 5, but everything is really flowing well. And I want to keep our folks here.
Yep, this is Brad.
10 plus we have, actually see digital, 3D digital, et cetera, in operation. So is there any really pressing questions from anybody?
Since you said that, I know Martin said this in the back of the auditorium earlier today, but I don't know if you've heard him. If you want to do 3D at a drive-in, Dolby is your only choice. There is no such thing as a silver screen for 3D.
And expand is cost prohibitive as far as glasses. Dolby glasses are bad enough at $10 a pair. Expand are $50, $55. Not going to work.
Have you
So by the way, Dolby 3D will run on Dolby server, Dolby server, and Genesee server.
Any server.
After we make a big purchase, a big upfront purchase, and everything's done, our warranty's gone, our industry, which is the drive-in industry, which is much more limited than the in-house industry, is it to maintain it and pay for a maintenance agreement going to absorb a lot of our, is it gonna cost us just as much to stay in the game as it did to get in the game?
I mean, like an extended warranty? Is that what
Right,
you're asking?
the maintenance on it after the, yeah, service contract.
You're really gonna have to do the math on yourself. I mean, what is your service company charging? What do they do? How technically inclined are you? You know, are you willing to go up there and check the filters every month and do just the basic things yourself? Some BPF contracts require you to hold a service contract. Things like that. Some of them dictate which company you have to have for a service contract.
You guys kind of have it tougher too than big circuits, because you're trying to protect one protector. You don't have another 59 to spread the risk across. So I think you have to take a look at your own risk tolerance. You know, it's just, it is an investment for you. If you're comfortable, you know, and I don't want to say rolling the dice because I think that's too fatalistic, but if you're comfortable with the risk of having your equipment without a service contract, without a maintenance contract, without an extended warranty, you know, whatever level you want to fall in, then do it, unless you're required by your VPF program to hold a service contract. If you want to be absolutely sure that, you know, you want to know that you write your check every month and your equipment is protected, then buy a maintenance contract, buy an extended warranty. It's entirely up to you.
Now, maintenance contract is not the same thing as a knock, correct?
No.
This was a little different.
And also, don't be fooled by thinking that a maintenance contract means you're never going to lose a show.
It comes to 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock and you're ready to run a show and it goes down, your service company is even 30 minutes away.
You've lost the show. So unless the knock can get in there and fix it to whatever their ability is, because they've all got different levels of ability, to literally get in there and fix it on the fly, you've lost your day.
Involved in the truck.
Is there a percentage number out there of what your initial cost was to what your third-year service warranty is going to cost?
Well, initial cost is going to be drastic compared to what it's going to cost to keep them maintained.
Oh, really?
Right, is it 10%, 20%, does anybody have a number?
Ours is $30 a month for one visit a year.
First.
Preventative maintenance. First free.
$30 for one visit a year. That's what you're
30.
Do you have a company right now that you use for your film?
No.
We did have Hayden, but they're Hayden.
Oh, Haddon? Oh, right. Well, I mean, if there's a company that you trust, maybe one of the companies here or whatever, you know, by all means, everyone here is reputable. Talk to them.
And you know, on our website, there is a lot of, it's third-party discussion. We're not pushing anybody, we're not aligned with anybody, but there's a lot of discussion over who does good work and who does bad work. Just do a search for service companies and we'll get your answer. And that's people in the field, owners, technicians, people who have seen this stuff work. And, you know.
I think some of us feel that we're over the hurdle after we make the initial purchase. We really don't know what's past that. And some of us think that even after we make the original purchase, it's going to cost us so much to keep it going.
Well, for example, you could get lucky and you could never have a light engine fail. Or you can decide not to buy that extended warranty. And 366 days after you bought the thing, the light engine fails. Well, do you have 20,000 in the bank?
Our NEC has a 2-year parts and labor warranty. We all have 2 years. Some have parts and labor, some have parts and labor. You need to purchase the extended warranty from year 3 on. You cannot come back in year 5 and say, oh, now I want to purchase the extended warranty. So you have to know that up front.
Well, think about it from their perspective. What did you do during those 2 or 3 years? No manufacturers don't want to do that.
How expensive are these maintenance agreements? How expensive are these maintenance agreements? Just ballpark.
Each, I don't know.
We've got a whole suite of ways you can take care of your equipment, from self-service, or from certification, person training, from factory to class, to
having
Well,
4-hour
I don't believe that, you
service
don't
if you're
believe
in a low
that. The
metropolitan
studios kind of
area.
believe that.
Parts depots where you just buy the parts you
But
need. There's
you're not gonna tell
a bunch of
people
ways to
that-
slice this up based on the
that
budget
they're not
and the
competition.
level of
So,
insurance you
No, I mean-
want for peace of mind you want to take care
Well,
of.
you have to be.
Say what would be the average?
It's not like AMC's not
Well,
very-
here's the answer to your
You have to be very
question.
cautious.
Christie
This
has a
is
service
very
contract
competitive
at
market right here.
$1,790 a year.
AMC's
It covers
got,
up
I mean,
to
every
2
channel
visits per
right
year.
here. So
2
it's
site visits
very
at PM
tough.
per year.
You know,
It includes the knock, it includes the parts delivery to the theater by 9 the next morning, or
We all
9:30,
agree.
whatever UPS cutoff is. It includes the help desk, the 1-800 number, all that. That's for a next day service call. We want the same day
This time,
service.
yeah, this
that
time
runs
I
up
let
to
you-
2,000.
All right.
That's for the first 2 years that you're under warranty. Once you leave warranty, if you want to add extended warranty,
That's
you're going to
another
add another
one built up the theater
1,500 to
and the
2,000
house.
on top of that. So to your point, the worst case scenario out of warranty is about 4,000 a year if you want peace of mind. You're never going to.
It's extra 1,500 a year.
So that's $4,000 a year, I heard that right?
I'm sorry.
Was that $4,000 a year for the
After you're out
extended
of
warranty, right?
After you're out of warranty. About 4, if you want peace of mind. If you're in a remote area, you're going to incur travel expenses and travel time. That's for a market where you're in a couple hours in the day.
Okay.
And that's at today's price, so we don't know what it will be
Right.
in 2 years or 4 years.
Okay. And these numbers are per screen, correct?
First grade, per year.
Well, I think it's about time we can wrap it up. I appreciate all the good questions and everything like that. Well, first of all, why don't we give our speakers a round of Also, I want to thank Cisco. We have Chris here.